Would you stay in a haunted GCB at 50% discount?
Double, double, toil and trouble. Mortgage rates rise and prices fumble. Hi, I'm Selena.
And I'm Carmen. And today we're here to talk about Singaporeans' favourite topic, the property market.
How will the new cooling measures affect property prices?
The market actually really did not react so badly towards the announcement because there's been a series of other property measures in the last 15 years or so, and that in a sense has kind of cushioned that.
I think typically after every announcement of these macroprudential measures, typically the market goes into a wait and see mode. They try and assess how the developers will price the new projects. And of course, buyers will have to redo their sums and think about what is affordable for them.
What does the increase in the bank's stress test mean for property buyers?
Short-term interest rates have risen in Singapore. A lot of it is of course due to the global monetary policy tightening in the global landscape, including the US Federal Reserve, and hence we have seen mortgage rates also rise. I think looking ahead, of course, there could be some risk of further upside as far as short-term interest rates are concerned. So I guess we have to factor in some of the economic headwinds that we see in the market. So Carmen, what spillover effects will the new measures have on the rental market?
Actually, if you look at the property prices, both the property prices as well as the rental markets have been up for several quarters in the last 2 years or so, which means that demand has actually been very, very strong.
I think generally for people who are at the margin between whether they want to buy a new property or they want to rent, they may reconsider their decision now that the interest rates are on the rise. But I think with the return, of course, of foreign talent and workers back to Singapore, that would also provide some support to the rental market.
Older property but centrally located, or do you prefer new property but in some ulu places?
I would be very tempted to argue that with the growing network of MRT lines crisscrossing all over Singapore, it would be quite hard to find a place that is ulu in Singapore. Singapore, after all, at the end of the day, is still a very small country.
Yeah, quite true. And I think if I have the choice between an older, bigger unit at the same price versus a small, new unit, I would still go for the older unit anyway.
The Fed is not done raising interest rates for the year yet. Will mortgage interest rates continue rising, or when will it drop?
I think that's more up your alley, Selena.
Okay, I think market is basically pricing in the fact that the Fed probably will raise interest rates aggressively at the upcoming November FOMC meeting, and come December they may do another 50 basis points. So there will be some pass-through onto the Sing short-term interest rates as well. So there is some upside risk, as I've mentioned. But I think going out into 2023, there's a lot of talk about whether the Fed's going to pivot, meaning that they turn less hawkish and they start to either pause or they do smaller rate hikes from there. In fact, if you look at the futures market, they are pricing in the possibility that by the second half of 2023, the Fed may actually have to contemplate cutting rates.
Would you stay in a haunted GCB at 50% discount?
Well, I never thought about staying in a GCB, much less a haunted one. Well, maybe there will be a first for everything.
Okay, staying I may not stay, but if someone is prepared to sell me a GCB at 50% discount, I think we'll both take it up, right?
Worth considering. The property a good investment with the current inflation and recession fears, or what other safe investments can I consider?
Apart from property, there are other assets that you can consider at this point in time. And perhaps one of the better way to play the property market is also to buy into property stocks which are listed on the Singapore market. Currently, based on the valuation, most property stocks are actually trading at between 50% to 80% discount versus their book value.
I think I would agree. I mean, this question kind of assumes that you already have a roof over your head, so you're having excess funds that you want to invest and you're considering whether property is a good investment. I think we have to bear in mind that property investments tend to be fairly lumpy. And I think policymakers also scrutinize the property market very closely because they're concerned about overheating and over-exuberance. So they would want property prices to appreciate in line with income growth, and hence we have seen repeated rounds of macroprudential cooling measures.
I think earlier on I shared about the fact that some of the stocks are actually now trading at a discount to their book value. And I think in this situation where the market is correcting quite sharply in the last couple of months, value is starting to emerge. And I think if you're going to be a very medium to long-term sort of investor, then this is perhaps a good time to slowly and gradually accumulate some of these quality stocks at current prices.
We have also talked quite a fair bit about how rising interest rates actually impact your mortgage payments. But if you are a saver, actually rising interest rates work in your favor. So if you don't want to put too much money into a physical property itself, you can consider the REITs that Carmen mentioned. Or if you want safer investment options, it could be your Singapore government bonds, your T-bills that's issued by the MAS, or even your Singapore savings bond, which actually offer a nice yield and at a very affordable bite-sized chunks.